You're now listening to All Hog Sports, covering all Arkansas Razorback sports, such as football, basketball, baseball, and much more. Now, here's your host for today's show, Sam Stimson.
This past Saturday, the Arkansas Razorbacks fell to the Liberty Flames at home 21-9. And really where it started was offensively. Arkansas struggled heavily. And the offensive line has been tremendous all year. Ranked statistically, according to Pro Football Focus, Arkansas's offensive line was ranked number 1 in the nation prior to this game. However, that unit that's been graded so highly did not perform well, especially in the running blocking game. On the ground, Arkansas only averaged 3.4 yards per carry with 144 yards. KJ Jefferson took multiple sacks under center, and it was clear that KJ Jefferson was beat up. He's sore. He's been, playing as the team's quarterback the last 2 games against BYU and Auburn, and you could just tell by his mechanics and the way he played that he was playing injured. KJ threw 2 interceptions. One of those was off the hands of Trey Knox. KJ's thrown 3 picks this year. 2 of them have been deflected off of Trey Knox's hands, and then that was actually in the end zone, which was a huge turning point in the game. Arkansas continuing to have turnovers well into the red zone and moving down the field has been an issue all season, and it turned out to be costly, especially in a 2-point game against Liberty. And on that final play, Arkansas was down 21-19. Obviously, down 2, you go for 2, and KJ ended up being short. I thought that the refs made the right call there. I don't think it was like a situation where Arkansas got screwed by the refs by any means. This was just an embarrassing loss at home to a team that Arkansas has no business losing to. It's just as simple as that. Arkansas's defense in the first half let up 21 points. Second half didn't let up anything. Based off the first half performance, yes, I think a lot of fans kind of critiqued the defense in the first half. And then the second half, they kind of look like, oh, okay, the defense actually played well enough to win this game. The defense allowed 315 total yards and 21 points, 224 of those passing. Average yards per pass was only 9, which is kind of low considering Arkansas' secondary this season. Yards per rush was only 2.4, and Arkansas's defense held up pretty well. The defense put this team in a position to win, which has not been said, most of the games this season. Arkansas struggled defensively, and in this game, the defense hung around enough with Liberty, and the offense just was absolutely inept and couldn't get anything going. Rocket Sanders, 17 carries for 60 yards with 3.5 average yards. There were some plays where he just didn't look like himself because the offensive line just couldn't create any holes. Arkansas was really going run heavy early in the game and couldn't establish anything. They stayed true to that identity and finally got things working out later and got the team into positive yardage. I mean, at one point in the second quarter, it may have been past halftime, but Arkansas was in negative yardage when you count the sacks that KJ Jefferson took. Jefferson was 23 out of 37 with 284 yards, and the whole offense just really didn't play together and didn't look well as a unit. Malik Hornsby took a lot of reps with the number 1s all week, given KJ's injury. And my only critique of that situation is, why didn't Malik Hornsby get a shot? The Arkansas offense was struggling the entire game, and you could tell that KJ was hurt. Malik Hornsby practiced with the 1s all week and didn't get an opportunity, despite KJ clearly looking hurt out there and the offense struggling. A bright spot for the offense, though, was Matt Landers. He had 6 catches for 119 yards. He had 19.8 yards average, and then 36-yard catch was his longest. He's looked really good the last few games, 115 yards against Auburn, and then that 3-touchdown performance with 99 yards and 8 catches against BYU. He's kind of emerged as that wide receiver 1 target as a senior. Jaden Hazelwood, 8 catches for 86 yards. Arkansas threw the ball a lot later into the game and converted 4 out of 6 fourth downs. And yeah, converting 4 out of 6 fourth down, sure, that's good. But given like the fourth down, going for it 6 times on fourth down against Liberty, again, shows that the offense should have never been in this situation late into the game where they had to make 2 game-winning drives and be perfect. I mean, you cannot, just get the touchdown and then kick the extra point and go to overtime. Arkansas had to make 2 game-winning drives and score the 2-point conversion. They were able to do so in the first drive. Second drive, they come up short. The offense had 428 yards and only converted that to 17 points scored, as 2 of those were a safety by special teams. 2 interceptions thrown. He had 284 yards passing and then 144 rushing. Arkansas put the defense on the field for 30 minutes and 38 seconds in this one, and the defense did its job, like I said. I think the most frustrating thing about this loss in general is just the bad taste that it has, just all the circumstances around it. It's homecoming, and something that kind of happened last year too. Arkansas was on the road, lost a good amount of games on the road, and then came back looking to break a losing streak against Auburn last year on homecoming. It didn't happen. Arkansas, since the Alabama game, has not played a single game at Donald W. Reynolds. They went on the road and beat BYU, went on the road and beat Auburn, but before that, they lost to Mississippi State on that first game on the road, and then Arkansas has 2 more road games in this little 3-game road sketch, including a bye week, and you see Arkansas make the turn and perform well at BYU, put up 52 points on offense. Arkansas goes into the Plains, a place where Arkansas has not won in well over a long time. Arkansas puts up 41 points. Defense only allows 27. And I only say 27 because, even though I didn't do a recap on that game, something that was well determined to that was some garbage time points that Auburn ended up scoring. But the defense did look good in that Auburn game. Offense, last 2 weeks, 52 against BYU, 41 against Auburn. Perfect. And then you come home, you win 2 in a row, and then the next 2 games on your season are teams that were ranked in the top 11, that being LSU, which is likely to get a little bit of a bump after getting Bama and also leading the SEC West now, and also Ole Miss, who's sitting at 8-1. Those 2 weeks lay ahead of you, and Arkansas has a real shot of, upsetting LSU, possibly beating Ole Miss, given the circumstance. I mean, in some books, Arkansas opened as a favorite to win this game. Arkansas only sitting at a 3-point underdog as of Sunday. LSU is a very talented football program, but I think there's that optimism. Arkansas can defeat a rivalry at home, and then Liberty comes to town, a team that Arkansas should beat any day of the week, and you just flat out embarrassing loss. 3 more games left on the schedule. Like I said, those 2 games against ranked opponents, and then Arkansas will travel for the Battle Line rivalry playing at Missouri. 2 more trophy games on the schedule. I think the thing about the Liberty game, it's also like kind of the second game where Arkansas should have won, and they lost to a lesser opponent. Texas A&M sitting at 3-6 on the season, and then Liberty, a Group of 5 program. Arkansas should have won those 2 games, and it just, it hurts when you know that you're the better program, but then you step onto the field and you don't perform as well. I mean, Arkansas against Texas A&M, get out to a 14-0 lead and then blow it, and then Arkansas, you get out to a 21-0 lead, and then your defense makes a continuous stops the entire game. Special teams even forces a safety, and obviously get the ball back after a safety, and then the offense just fails to do anything after that. Last 2 drives, you finally get things going, but at that point it's too late, and you can't convert the 2-point conversion. I think it's frustrating given the loss, but Arkansas has 3 more games, and bowl eligibility faces ahead. Arkansas 3-point underdogs against LSU, and the thing that has to happen is something has to change. Arkansas has to find a way on offense to put this game in the past. The offensive line have a better performance up front. The defense, continue what they've been, doing against Auburn and Liberty to an extent. Obviously, late touchdown against Auburn, but 27 against them and then 21 against Liberty. If Arkansas can put together some defensive performances against LSU and then give the offense an opportunity to score and put enough points up to win, I think you can be looking at Arkansas getting bowl eligible this week. LSU is a very, very talented program, but this is a rivalry game. Arkansas at home. I don't think hope is lost for the season. At the bare minimum, you want to win one more game and get bowl eligibility. That's the goal every season, to get to postseason play, to get to bowl eligibility. Arkansas should get to a bowl game. I don't know if they'll be favored against Ole Miss or Mizzou, but between those three games, Arkansas should win one of them. I also wanted to address this. A lot of people, are calling for the coach to get fired, stuff like this. That's not happening. That's not reasonable. You can make adjustments without the coach being fired. You can figure out ways to get the offense rolling, fix execution, and a number of different problems without firing the head coach or firing anybody. There's a number of different things Arkansas has to improve on, and the list is kind of lengthy right now. Execution, play calling. There's a number of different things that affect how the offense mainly performed in this game, and those things are going to be worked on in practice. You can work on things without just, sweeping the book after one embarrassing loss. Losing to a team like Liberty is very embarrassing, but I think as long as, it doesn't happen again, Arkansas can get to bowl eligibility, you can start to, make the corner. Arkansas is obviously missing guys like Traylon Burks, Grant Morgan from that 9-win season last year, and obviously took a step down comparative to last season and the expectations that kind of got thrown onto the team by Pittman getting a 9-win season. Yes, I think Arkansas has underperformed. I mean, Arkansas is better than Texas A&M and better than Liberty, but the results don't show that on the schedule because Arkansas has not played well enough on the football field to beat those two teams. So yes, I think there's ways Arkansas has definitely underperformed this season. Arkansas should be a 7-win team right now. Maybe 8 if KJ was healthy against Mississippi State. KJ Jefferson's health, very important this week heading into LSU. I think Arkansas can still get things turned around and get to playing on the right side. You have 3 more weeks, and you just got to put a loss like this in the past and find out the leaders in the locker room, the leaders on the coaching staff, and get things figured out. This type of performance cannot be put up against LSU, or else we're going to get ran up 42-0 at home. It's going to be embarrassing. Arkansas has to find a way to move on and, really correct things going forward for the LSU game. That's all for today's episode. Signing off, Woo Pig Suey.
That's all for today's episode of All Hog Sports with Sam Stimson. Make sure to stay tuned for the next episode covering all Arkansas Razorback sports. If you enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe and leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. Follow us on social media too. On Twitter and Instagram at All Hog Sports Pod. Like on Facebook at All Hog Sports and Arkansas Razorbacks Podcast. And on YouTube at that same name. Thanks for tuning in to today's episode. Go Hogs!